Okie dokie. So, whatever, waterfalls. I keep seeing a lot of y'all having issues with them. Um, Let me find a decent chart that I can look at so I can describe it. I'm gonna be looking at UJ, I think, since it seems to. Nah, it looks like shit. How about. Cable's a good one. We had several little waterfalls on it. Okay, guys, for the waterfalls, most of the time you're probably not going to recognize them till after the fact and you're going to lose a trade on it. What I'm seeing from a lot of people is they're freaking entering immediately on the next candle. Stop right there. One of the easiest ways to deal with waterfalls is, and you won't be able to see my chart, but you will later. Basically, you have a qualified trade, and then you'll see price going up. So let's say it hits a monthly pivot, and then it blows through it, you lose that trade. Well, don't jump in on the next candle. Wait for the next setup. Your biggest hint there is going to be if the next setup hits and you still have all green or red candles. Most likely, it's a pretty good idea not to get into the damn trade because it's probably running. So if you get a setup and then it fails, and 3 candles later you get another setup, but you don't see a red candle in that mix, then stay out of it. Um, if you're getting all hardcore and it's really, really, really kicking your ass, throw up an itchy chart. An itchy chart will show you with the cloud and the crossover what the likelihood is. If you're using a 5-minute chart, that likelihood isn't as strong as it is on another one. On mine, I have it up so I can see it, but I use it when waterfalls are popping a lot, just so I can say, screw it, I'm staying out of it. What happens normally is you'll see ranging market, waterfall, ranging market, waterfall. So all you have to do is watch for that ranging market to go waterfall, and then after that you can get back into trading again. This one looks like it was news related. I'm looking at Euro. It was flat as shit, dropped, then went flat, and then dropped, and now it's ranging nicely. So Euro's tradable right now. What was I gonna say? If you're losing, guys, send me your freaking charts. I mean, there's really no excuse. I'm here. Um, I know a lot of you like to use screenshot software, but if you could mark your trade with an arrow, I'm gonna show it on this. You do the arrow up. All I need is the arrow up. I don't care if it's or arrow down on it. Then right click on your chart. Do save as picture. Make sure it says active chart as is, and it has a check mark and post. And I'll show you right here real quick so I can link it. This is what I'd prefer to see because I can see the entire chart and the entire pair, because some people are sending me uh, little pieces of screenshots on it and it's not working. Remember, if you go into, I think, the rules that came with the book, there's a whole little chapter on waterfalls. It shows you some examples of how to spot them. Like what the angles look like. It has a clock if you go back and look at it. Right now, I mean, I'd honestly say the first thing you could do, like I mentioned, is if it breaks through a level and it continues going, stay out of the trade. Just hold back and stay out. We're seeing consolidation or rain or a small range and then a drop and then a small range and then a drop. It's a pattern during the summer. It happens over and over and over. Ranges are slightly expanding, so I'm not going to say that's a good sign because then until next week they'll be shit again. But as the ranges start to expand again, that's going to be an indication that summer trading's starting to end. But right now, I would say no. We're not even into August yet, although summer trading started really freaking early. But like I said, if you get into a trade and let's say it blows through a monthly or a daily pivot or a weekly pivot, watch the damn thing, wait for it to go to the next setup. Don't revenge trade and jump in. This taking a trade the next candle is crap. Wait for it to go to the next pivot point, and if you have seen no weakness yet, right there you're in a waterfall. It might not be huge red candles. It might just be a bunch of little candles going up, but we don't see any. For instance, we see all greens and no reds, or we see a doji in the middle of it. You have to be aware of those since the waterfalls are kicking people's asses to stay out of it. With Itchy, if you go through the binary options edge things with the daily things, I show you how to use the Itchy, the Cinco span, which is the trailing line, how to draw support and resist. So when you do get into a waterfall, it'll help you identify the exhaustion point for that waterfall by drawing your support lines based off of the Cinco's, whatever, Casper's what I call it, the trailing line. It will help you identify where the exhaustion point is. Um, Other than that, when you're on an itchy chart, I'll see if I can find one. Like, let me bring up cable on an itchy chart on my screen, and I'll just describe it real quick. But cable. A lot of the times, what you're going to see, and so if you're familiar with price action, is when a waterfall forms. And did I load it? Yeah, I did. Cable looks like shit too. Okay, so what you'll see on an itchy chart when you're looking for a waterfall to form is when it breaks through the cloud and then price closes lower and you get your okay, so first it's going to break through the cloud. The next thing you're going to look for is a TK cross. If a TK cross happens, how many days back is best to look back for Casper lines drawing them? On a 5 minute chart is what I do first, and I'll when you go through the ones on the forums, I'll link it into the Skype room next. I use the 5 minute chart and I draw it to draw my support and resist in. Then what I do is if I can't find exhaustion points, I'll bump up a time frame. So I'll bump up to the 15 minute, and then I look for exhaustion points. Basically what I'm doing is I'm looking for support and resist that's within the chart first, and then the next thing I want to do is identify my exhaustion points. So if I do get a run, I already have them drawn on the chart. I know it doesn't make much sense yet, but just go through the. I'll link them to you next when we're done. But jump back out to the 15 minute chart. If you can't get an exhaustion point there, go to the 30 minute until you can draw some exhaustion points. What you're looking for is an exhaustion point is a support and resist well outside the normal range, so that when we do get a 10, 15, 20 pip run, you already can see, well, if it runs right up to there, that's my exhaustion point because I've got a good support and resist for there. I do it, I think, for almost 2 weeks straight. I show how to do it. I draw it every day for people, so there's a ton of examples on those videos on how to do it. So using Itchy and you don't have it up, if you don't have the Itchy template, hit me up when we're done. I'll send you the link to the whole freaking webinar, and you'll see it on my chart here when I upload this video. Using Itchy, what happens? Price will drop in or out of the cloud, so it's going to drop through the cloud or above the cloud. When price drops through the cloud, the first thing you're going to be looking for is what's called a TK cross, which is on the template that you'll have is a blue and a purple line. If the cross happens, and we're going to say price has broken south through, because that's what I'm looking at here. So price breaks through the cloud south. The first thing we look at is where did the cross happen when price dropped out of the cloud. If the cross happened above the cloud, that's a weak sign for reversal. If it happened in the cloud, it's a medium sign. I'm not for reversal, for a run, for a waterfall, or for a valid Itchy trade. So if the cross happens above the cloud, weak; in the cloud, medium; after the cloud, strong. That can help you stay out of it. Now the next thing we do, once price drops out of the cloud, then you should be able to see where the cross was. If the cross was in the middle of the cloud, we're going to look for price to close lower than the previous swing low. If it closes lower than the previous swing low, most likely it's going to run. If price closes above that swing low, most likely we're going to get a reversal and it's not going to run. But you need to watch out because sometimes the next candle will drop down and close below it. You're just watching for the price to close lower. Once that price closes lower than the previous swing low or swing high, there's a chance we're going to get a run. You'll see it really clearly on what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at here is this bar right here. We had the cross. It was actually occurred here. Then the cross went through the cloud, and it also almost came out the bottom. So this was a pretty good indication that we're going to have a run down. This candle that I'm looking at, and you'll see it on the video, here's my swing low right here. It closed lower, and we did get a run down. It'll be in the video. I'm going to upload it here in a second as soon as we're done. The screen here is just so shitty. Let me show you, and again, I'm going to show you where the run didn't happen, and then you'll be able to see it. So price came up here. Price broke through the cloud, but as you notice, here's our swing high, previous one. If we look, it matched it, but it didn't close higher than it. So most likely there we don't get a run out of it. That's what you're going to be looking for. If you have issues with using Itchy, you have questions about it, guys, hit me up. It's a great tool. I know it adds another freaking chart on your screen if you want to do it, but I trade Itchy for my spot trade, so I have it open in anyway. That pretty much sums it up, guys. I just wanted to bring it up to your attention on what you can do about the waterfalls. Personally, I would say freaking throw an Itchy chart up. an itchy chart will allow you to switch over to a trend trade immediately without having to load up another chart. So that way, when the market's ranging, you can range trade and you can trend trade. Markets World, if you're using it, has the expiries to do it now. It's kind of like Stock Pair used to, or does, but I don't use them anymore. So you can use Markets World now to trend trade also. You just take a 15-30 minute expiry and let it run. Um, I'll post the video up and post the link up to the itchy templates so you have them. There was something else I was going to post. Oh, the videos so on how to draw your support and resist and exhaustion points with itchy also. Other than that, any questions or anything, and I'll get this uploaded so you can see what the hell I was talking about. If not, cool. I'll upload it right now so you can see it, and I'll post the 2 links for you. And that is all she wrote.